So I had a very weird dream with you tonight, George. Well, actually, there was someone else. There was someone else in my dream, though. Yeah, I know it's strange, but it's not that kind of dream. Don't worry, it's not that kind of dream. Don't worry. There was someone else with us, though, but I can't remember. I can't remember who it was. I just remember you. And basically, we were gonna go on a trip. Yeah. And we rented a car. I can't remember which car, but we rented a car. It had like an incorporated GPS. We put the GPS where we wanted to go and all that. And apparently the rental car company was tracking us also on GPS. And something happened with that GPS that the rental car company thought that we were going back and forth from the same point like 4 times. It was actually exactly 4 times. And they called us, hey, like, what's going on? Like, you're going back and forth from the same place. It's like, oh, yeah, don't worry. It was the GPS who is wrong. We're still heading to our destination and all that. And we were heading to a place where, you know, the buildings were very similar to where we lived at uni. Yeah. Remember, George? It was the same type of buildings, but different disposition. Same type of buildings. And just before we reached the destination, we stopped like 4 or 5 streets away. And you said, oh, yeah, don't worry. Stop here one moment. You said, George, I have to go up to get something for my mom, something like that. And you actually called your mother. And, oh, yeah, I need this, blah, blah. And she said, oh, yeah, it's okay. I'll come down. Okay. We went downstairs. She went down. And when she came out, I was like, oh, shit. You know, like, you look very lookalike to my grandma. It was actually physically my grandma with some little minor changes. And I was like, oh, shit. And your mother was like, oh, maybe you're, like, blood related or something, talking about you and me. It's like, well, I mean, that's going to be difficult. I mean, in Spanish, we're thousands of kilometers away. I really doubt it. And suddenly she brings down a massive paper with all your family tree. It was not people or names, though. It was just like flags of the world, and there was like the Valencian flag down the tree, like a couple of Valencian flags. It's like, see, there's like some Valencian blood within us too. It's like, oh shit, maybe we're blood related. And then we just grabbed whatever it was, which I can't remember what it was. It was important, and we carried our journey. And then I woke up. That was my trip.
You need to get yourself checked out, mate.
I can't remember if I was speaking in English, though. Maybe I was.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's just it. Well, how are you guys doing?
I'm after that a lot better.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it was not that kind of dream. Don't worry.
We all want to be. Yeah, well. Yeah. In whatever way it is, everyone wants to be someone's dream. So there you go. Take from that what you will.
It was probably someone else too. Probably you, Sam.
I sat in the back seat.
He's hoping so, yeah.
Yeah, sitting at the back. Not that back though.
Well, a very fascinating instalment of Sento's nocturnal activities there. Welcome back, everyone, to the 6th episode of the Pixel Players podcast. With myself, George, or at Feathernover NFT on Twitter.
The Dream Boy Cento or Ratpinat _ on Twitter.
Sam or Skipper NFT on Twitter.
And we all sprout from the same plant pot that is the Pixel Players NFT project. You can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Instagram, or you can find us on YouTube. All of the links will be down below. Like, comment, and subscribe if you please. It will help us out massively. Plenty to talk about today. It's a Tuesday evening, about 20 to 8 in London. Sento is joining us from... Please tell us.
Valencia.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Loriguilla, which is a town nearby Valencia.
Did you just say Italian? Oh, a little town. I thought you said which is Italian nearby Valencia.
Yeah, I live in an Italian. That's it.
Well, I guess we start with the Premier League fixtures, because I'm not going to lie, it was an absolute whopper of a weekend. Was it not? Well, I don't know if Sam's going to agree, but
I mean, some say whopper, some say flopper.
Yeah, for you, it's definitely a flopper.
I'll go with the latter. Where do we start?
I think we start with Liverpool. The early kickoff on Saturday. I think everyone had Liverpool down to pipe them, didn't they? I mean, Nottingham Forest, the bottom of the league, I think.
They were bottom of the league. Yeah, I mean, it's a great 3 points for them, right?
Unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't believe it. At the same time, though, it was in a way, it's typical football. Isn't it? 1 week they beat Man City, who everyone thinks, best team in Europe or whatever, let alone the league, best team in this league. Then the weekend after, they're losing to relegation fodder. Hilarious. Klopp's face, the way he gurns on the sidelines is. I mean, we've already got a podcast episode called Jurgen Klopp and his massive gurn or whatever. He was gurning away again on Saturday, wasn't he? About 1 o'clock.
Is Klopp gonna be the next one to go after Steven Gerrard?
I mean, we've spoken about this before. I mean, it was on the cards when he came off, when he started terribly, and then he brought it back a little bit, but
just a little bit though. Yeah, I mean, he's not doing great.
Yeah, I know we say just a little bit, but beating Man City is a big deal. Twice. I mean,
the Charity Shield.
Community Shield,
yeah.
Shield.
I'm going to ask you something because I don't follow Liverpool as much. But is Liverpool the kind of team that maybe doesn't play as well with maybe smaller teams that could be Nottingham Forest, but once they are against a big team like City or Spurs or Chelsea or something like that, like they give it the all.
I think they're
day and night.
I think that's exactly what team they are now. I think the team Liverpool are now is, they can put up a good game against a big six team, because it's motivating, but against smaller team, they haven't got the same intensity, have they? I mean, they used to play with such intensity the last 4 or 5 years or whatever. That I feel like they're knackered now. I think it's been bad planning from the board and that not to bring in players to replace ones who look mentally and physically shattered. To be honest,
Sadio Mane was a massive loss.
Oh yeah,
massive loss.
I mean, you can't blame him for wanting to move on either. Yeah.
Have Liverpool not always been this team? I mean, look how many times they've won the Champions League and look how many times they've won the Premier League.
Very true.
They've been a great club for the big occasion.
Knockout.
The Champions League nights.
Yeah.
But when it came to Premier League, they've always struggled.
Which is, the majority of the games are against teams that you would argue are lesser than, if you're Liverpool yourself.
Yeah.
That reminds me to my Valencia. We're in a pretty similar situation for the past 3 years, to be honest.
Yeah.
We'll come to that later. Though.
Yeah. So I think Liverpool must be gutted. How well they played for the last few years, and to only have won one league and be beaten to it by Man City by 1 or 2 points. It must take it out of you. The amount of games they've played, like I said, the intensity they play at. It was kind of always going to happen, which is why you're looking at the board and saying this is bad planning.
The argument is Liverpool are burnt out now.
Exactly.
I mean, they were 2 games away from winning the quadruple last year. Yeah, and that's only last year. And I mean, does the burnout end with the World Cup? Probably not.
After that great season when they nearly won the Premier League and all that, I really thought that they were just going to be going upwards. That's going to be very motivating for them. They're going to be extra motivated, just push it even harder the next seasons and all that. But it has been completely the opposite. Like you said, they're completely burned out. They need new blood. They need a new blood.
I think as well, imagine being Andy Robertson or something. You've played pretty much every game for 4 years, and you've been playing at a really high sort of energy level. There's only so long you can take Jurgen Klopp barking at you at half time, shouting.
Definitely.
He'd really get on your nerves. I think. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if it's because if I was a Liverpool fan, it might be different because I probably love him. Won the first league for 30 years and the Champions League and whatever. But from the outside, he looks like he can be a right arse. Do you know what I mean?
But some people would have a special connection with him, wouldn't they? I mean, in terms of special connections, look at Mourinho and Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
They're just I bet those two are in each other's dreams. Just like you two. Yeah. I mean,
Jesus.
it may look from the outside like, you don't want him to be your manager, you don't want to play for him, but sometimes when they've been through a lot, they come out the other end with rose tint heart glasses on, right?
Yeah.
And it's tough to move on. And that could be a prime example of what's happening, or what happened against Forest.
Yeah. I mean, Van Dijk missed 2 great opportunities in the second half. I mean, one of them was a great save, to be fair, from the goalkeeper, but should have been scoring.
His hand out.
Yeah, and the second one was, or the first one, that was the second one. The first one was where he kind of like squared it to.
I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know what he was doing there. He should have just gone for goal.
Yeah,
I think even the commentator said great clearance.
Yeah, literally.
But just before the end of the game, that save.
Yeah,
Dean Henderson.
And Dean Henderson, you see them videos of him giving it to the Liverpool fans after the game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was the save after the bounce, which is always hard to sort of follow the ball.
Yeah. But I think personally, I don't know about you two, I think Liverpool are in trouble now. I think they'd really pinned their hopes on getting Jude Bellingham this summer, which now looks like I think he might be going to Real Madrid. They're looking. I mean, I'm seeing Liverpool fans online calling for 3 new midfielders, which they do need. Henderson, Milner, and Fabinho are all looking like they're past their best. But how lucky have you got to be to get 3 midfielders in, and every single one of them to click and and to fit in and to to basically replace the level that those players I mentioned just then were reaching last season and that. So I think they're in trouble personally.
Yeah. May I add something, a quick note about Bellingham that you said that you tried to get? Might going to Real Madrid, that would make sense now, because I've been reading around, I've been seeing and also reading around, also saw it myself, for the past 4 or 5 La Liga games, Toni Kroos, every time it ends or he scores or he gets an assist, his celebration is kind of saying bye-bye to the fans. So this could be the last Toni Kroos season at Real Madrid, and maybe Bellingham will come to replace him. That would make sense too, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I would obviously love to see Bellingham at Chelsea, but I don't think that will happen. So actually, Real Madrid, I quite like it. Wouldn't you, Sam? Seeing an English player take it on at Real Madrid?
It'd be tough for him. I mean, I think it would be good, but would it be the right move? I don't know.
I think, if you're going to replace him with Kroos and they're going to give him game time, imagine what is it, the midfield, Camavinga, Valverde.
Yeah, they're replacing all with young players, like you say, Valverde, Camavinga.
Tchouaméni.
The British reception at Real Madrid, has it ever been brilliant?
That's the thing. I mean, it was alright, but I wouldn't say it was a superstar either, like all the players.
When he was playing with Zidane and Ronaldo, wasn't
he? Yeah, but there's a very interesting phenomenon with English players in La Liga. Most of them just crash for some reason.
Yeah,
I reckon it's the heat. It's got to be the heat.
It's intense, isn't it?
It is.
And I don't know if it is as much the football as it is the atmosphere.
Yeah, but maybe because he's used to playing in the German league, could be different for him.
True.
Who knows?
True.
Yeah. I want to see it. I want to see how he gets on.
I think he is a brilliant footballer.
He reminds me of Gerrard. Every time I watch him play, reminds me of Gerrard.
It would be interesting.
I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be our best midfielder, England's best midfielder, to be honest.
Bellingham.
Yeah.
What about Gallagher?
Gallagher?
Is it? Gallagher.
Yeah, Gallagher's good. But I just think the way that, Jude Bellingham, was he 19 still, 20 or something? And when you watch him, he looks like a 25-year-old, doesn't he? He looks like he's played 300 games. But he hasn't, It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's already captaining Dortmund in some games as well, which is unbelievable.
Has he really?
Yeah. I don't know how good his German is, but yeah.
By the way, they have such good scouting, Dortmund, huh? They always getting all these young players that most of them always go to be superstars.
Yeah, Pulisic, Ousmane Dembele,
Haaland.
Götze, Haaland.
Lewandowski, did he start there?
Yeah, I think they got him from Lech Poznan.
Marcus Royce.
Yeah.
Marcus Royce,
Sancho. I don't know if Royce came through the. I don't know if Royce came through the academy. I'm not sure. I think Royce is local.
Only the Chelsea fan would start that list with Pulisic.
He's good though. I like a bit of Hershey boy. Chocolate boy.
Yeah, brilliant academy.
Liverpool could do with a few of those players, to be honest.
Liverpool could do with a few. Yeah, correct.
Interesting though. I think not this weekend, but next weekend Liverpool have got Tottenham, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yeah, I think sixth.
Yeah, and that's because also on that day it's Chelsea Arsenal. So, what a Super Sunday that is! Chelsea Arsenal, Spurs Liverpool.
Super Sunday.
Yeah. Well, after that early kickoff where Forest stole the 3 points from Liverpool deservedly, you could argue, we had to watch Chelsea draw 1-1 with Man United, which, in my opinion, as a Chelsea fan, not only was highly likely, because we haven't beaten them in 9, and every game seems to be a boring score draw or a 0-0 or a 1-0 if you're lucky. But it wasn't the greatest game to watch. I mean, I watched it with Sento.
Yeah.
Sento actually had the Valencia game on, which we'll move on to again later.
Time.
Yeah, at the same time. But in the first 30 minutes, United are on top. Potter reacted. I think Potter reacted well, and it's good to see Potter. He brought on Kovacic after 30 minutes for Cucurella because he didn't like how the midfield battle was being won by Man United. So he brought on Kovacic, and it kind of worked. Like as soon as he did that change, the game was different, and Chelsea had a lot more control, a few more chances. But I think a draw is the right result, to be honest. I mean, there was a few clear-cut chances for either team, but nothing major. Was it a penalty? I think it was a penalty. A lot of people disagree, especially Mark Goldbridge, which I think is ridiculous because that guy runs his mouth about most things refereeing-wise. And
that was definitely a pen.
Yeah, and then one thing he chooses to sort of disagree with is a stonewall penalty. Ridiculous, but
yeah. Anyway, I mean, I think it should a draw. Happy with a draw. I'm happy with a draw.
You are. You are, obviously.
That's because they lost 2-0 to him, was it?
It was. But the upset of going 1-0 up in the 87th minute to then have a 94th minute equaliser is just demoralising.
It was great. The thing is, it was like it's funny because
and United too.
Yeah, but it went in, didn't it? The header obviously went in for Casemiro, but it was like a good save as well. It was like Kepa almost on. I didn't think it crossed the line when I was watching it. I thought it was a load of rubbish. I thought someone had turned on the goal line technology or something. But the goal was Casemiro, the passion he showed. I mean, I didn't enjoy that much, but the way he was beating his chest like a gorilla, screaming "Vamos" or whatever. Vamos.
I think that passion actually shows how frustrated the team has to be.
Yeah.
Like not playing well, not doing well, then having the Cristiano Ronaldo problems and all that.
Yeah.
And getting that goal, that last second, pretty much equalizer.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So, but from the beginning, that game felt like a stalemate, to be honest.
And that's why I wasn't that gutted about when they equalised, because I can't. Even when we scored, the camera cut to Graham Potter, who was sat on the bench, and he didn't really celebrate. And I was like, he's a clever man there. He's not getting carried away. And I personally feel like this game wasn't over. I'd kind of written it off from the 70th minute. I thought like this is definitely going to peter out to a 0-0. It's been pretty boring. Can't see anything happening, and obviously get the penalty. I think might have just nicked it, but no. I mean, I was probably gutted for about 5-10 minutes, but I quickly saw past it. Definitely, a draw was the right result, I think. So,
what do we think about Anthony as a player?
I think he's all right. I think, do you know what? If Jadon Sancho was as good as Anthony is playing at the moment, anyway, I think United would be a real problem. But Jadon Sancho is letting down the side on the left-hand wing, so.
Yeah,
I mean, I still think it was too expensive, but I think it's
100 million euros. Oh my god!
I think, I think he's a showman.
100%. He loves it, doesn't he? He loves it.
He loves his flair. But I mean, he's not a bad footballer. He doesn't just do a Rabona for the sake. Well, he does do it for the sake of it. He doesn't lose the ball every time he does it.
And he looks like in a way he's not just enjoying it, but like I don't know, it's something about he's very Brazilian, isn't he? He's definitely Brazilian, that's for sure.
The thing is, right, if he was pinging in goals every other game or every game, it would remind me of peak Ronaldo at Man United back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what he was doing.
Yeah, the confidence. It's the confidence, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas at the moment, it's just showmanship.
Yeah.
I think.
So like
all talk, no trousers.
All talk, yeah, but if he starts pinging them in, then fair play. But
yeah,
he could be the replacement fully for Ronaldo.
I mean, it's taken what? Oh well, I mean, I'd say if you're talking about wing Ronaldo, you're talking 10 years, isn't it, since wing Ronaldo has been a thing? But centre forward Ronaldo, yeah. Well,
where is he?
Moving on from the Chelsea game, just quickly we won't talk long about this one because none of us have any horses in this race, but Everton beat Crystal Palace 3-0. Good performance from Everton, to be fair. Lampard's got on playing some good nice football, even though they have lost 2 of the last 3 games. It's quite nice to see, actually, Lampard against Vieira for some reason, isn't it? You know, two ex Premier League legends now managing.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. I'm sure it's not the last of it. We've already got what? We've seen Scott Parker. We've seen Gerrard. Who else have we seen from old Arteta? How can I forget Arteta?
Oh, yeah.
Managers from sort of, the last sort of 20 years of Premier League.
Wasn't Sol Campbell doing some?
Probably somewhere. There's loads of them in there. I mean, John Terry's doing a bit with. He was assistant manager for Villa, wasn't he? But I think he's doing a bit of youth work now. Yeah. Nice to see.
What I see more interesting and actually very interesting is the Villa win against Brentford, 4-0.
Yes.
Like
unbelievable. Within 3-0
after they
minutes.
just fought 3-0.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Unbelievable. I wonder if Gerrard was watching. What do you reckon? Gerrard watching?
Of course he was.
He was definitely watching.
You reckon?
Of course he was.
Hoping for a win or what?
Or maybe until they scored the 2 first goals, then he got his stuff.
Had to go out for a walk. Yeah, had to go out for a walk.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. It was just they came out of the traps and smashed it. Right. It was.
Yeah.
It was 3-0 after 14 minutes.
Like a bunch of greyhounds, aren't they?
Like a bunch of greyhounds.
Yeah. And also against Brentford, which is, I mean, although it's not a City or a Chelsea.
But
for me, it's a pretty solid team.
A good team. And at home, Brentford are a really hard team to beat, as Chelsea found out midweek where we drew 0-0. A very entertaining 0-0, may I add. But away from home, they've got a really, trembly sort of record, I think, Brentford. They're not too good when they're travelling and playing away. So, but no, I mean, Villa beating them 4-0 wasn't in the script at all.
Never. No.
But yeah, so at last, I've waited for this one. We did see Newcastle travel down to North London this weekend to take on Tottenham. It always sort of looked like the pick of the bunch for Super Sunday as well, because we also had Arsenal, Southampton, and another game that I'm not going to try and recall because I'm too eager to get into this Tottenham game. Take it away, Sam. What happened?
It was Wolves Leicester. We can talk about that one if you want.
No, please go ahead.
Tottenham Newcastle. I mean,
so you wake up a bit excited.
I don't even want to start to talk about it. I mean, Tottenham didn't even start. It was a terrible game.
But maybe actually boring. Cameo a little bit with. Did you watch the United game in the week as well? I guess did you?
I watched it. Yeah. And then. I was expecting goals in the Tottenham Newcastle game. I was expecting Tottenham to score a few goals. I mean, obviously tainted by the fact that Richarlison injured, Kulusevski injured. Our front powerful 4 was just Son and Kane. But that's all right. That's a decent partnership in its own right.
Yes, but Son's been underperforming, isn't he?
He has been underperforming, but when he has performed, I mean, he's performed.
Yeah, got a hat-trick.
The first 10 minutes of this game, first 10 minutes of Tottenham Newcastle, Son had a couple of shots, couple of attempts.
Yeah, he had a good chance, didn't he? Yeah.
And it looked like it was going to be a promising game, and then it was all Newcastle. The remaining 80 minutes was just an onslaught from Newcastle, and it was just depressing. was exciting if you're a Newcastle fan.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a really entertaining game as a neutral.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. And as a Newcastle fan, even more exciting. I mean, it's pushed them up to 4th place.
Yeah.
They're a Champions League contender as it stands today. I mean, Chelsea game in hand against them, but Chelsea can also leapfrog Spurs.
I mean, I don't know when that game in hand's going to be played, but I think Newcastle are looking dangerous.
Newcastle are in amidst Arsenal, Man City, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United, and then Liverpool.
And they're actually kind of slap bang in the middle of it, aren't they?
They are snuggled in there.
Yeah. And they've got Alexander Isak and Alan Saint-Maximin didn't play either. So, do you know what I mean? I mean, Alan Saint-Maximin is fire. I love the guy. I think he's brilliant.
I love him as well. Well, yeah, but again, I mean, they played well, Newcastle, and I don't know what it is. I mean, it's not like they've bought 100. They've not bought 100 million.
Bruno's a big part, isn't he? I mean, he's unbelievable.
It's just such a decent squad. I struggle to watching the Tottenham Newcastle game. I struggle to sort of acknowledge whether it's Newcastle playing well or Tottenham playing bad.
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah. I think we just got outplayed.
And Almiron's in banging form. He's really come of age, isn't he?
On fire. It was definitely a bit of both, because Newcastle is a solid team, and season after season since he got bought, it's getting better. Slowly, but steady.
Joe Linton as well. The midfielder. Joe. I mean, he's turned him into a midfielder, hasn't he? I think he was like a centre forward before. Joe Linton's great, and all.
Yeah. Oh, he is an attacking midfielder, I guess.
Yeah.
The thing, Tottenham are just sort of waiting for the onslaught, ready to counter attack.
Yeah,
and it didn't work. There was no counter attack. We were just sat deep. I'm not sure what it is. I mean, we need a creative midfielder.
What about the fullbacks?
What about
you
the
have
fullbacks?
Harold Wings is your creative midfielder.
Harry Winks.
Yeah.
Sorry, Harry.
No, it's supposed to be Oliver Skip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Against Newcastle, it's supposed to be Oliver Skip.
Do you not think the fullbacks are a big issue? Sessegnon played, and was it Chicken Royale? I think.
Chicken Royale.
Jesus, you guys hate him, right?
I mean, I stopped liking him after the Arsenal red card.
Ridiculous.
Before that, I didn't mind him.
Supportive. Let's see that. Just supportive.
Yeah. Supportive of him and his £800,000 investment. Oxygenator, wherever he
wanted to improve. But yeah, I mean, Tottenham have always struggled with decent fullbacks since the Danny Rose, Cole Walker era.
I mean, Trippier. Trippier was on the pitch, but not in white.
Well, it was black and white.
Yeah. I think I personally think that's where, because I think Conte's football relies so much on fullbacks that Sessegnon. I think he had a shocking game, and Chicken Royale leaves a lot to be desired at the best of times. So. Who have you got? I mean, Jed Spence isn't being given a chance. Where's Reguilon? Reguilon's gone back to Spain, is he?
Is he?
I believe he's on loan. Is he on loan or is he gone fully? I haven't seen him for a while.
I think he might be on loan, but
I have no idea.
He's certainly gone off somewhere else. You got Ben Davies. I mean, he's been playing centre back.
We've got Matt Doherty.
That's the one. I mean, he's struggled, isn't he, Matt Doherty at Tottenham? Really?
Last season he turned into Cafu.
Yeah,
he's the Irish Cafu.
Yeah,
he had a great season, and then he got injured, and he's not really recovered.
No. Yeah,
but he's on loan in Athletic Madrid. Sergio Reguilon. What the hell?
Yeah.
How did I even miss that? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No idea. But so this, as we've sort of covered, we are in the midst, and we've kind of just closing up on Tottenham. But as we've already spoken about Liverpool as well, I think it's quite interesting to quickly mention, if you were to say, how many games Klopp and Conte have left if they were to lose every game from now on, Conte having already just lost 2 and Klopp the 1 to Forest, how many games left do you think they've both got?
3.
3 each?
Yeah.
Really?
I'd say a little bit more for Conte, I think.
I think it's more on if Conte loses another 3 now, that's 5 on the bounce.
If you lose 5 on the bounce, that's game over, right?
Yeah, but I think for some reason Klopp's still got credit in the bank. I don't know why. Well, I do know why.
No. if Klopp loses 3 games, right? Yeah. He's currently, or Liverpool are currently 12 points behind Arsenal. Right?
Wow.
If they lose the next 3 games, they're opening themselves up to be 21 points behind the leaders.
And it's like, what? So the next, I think there's 3 games left as well. So that would be at the World Cup. So we'd be at the World Cup thinking
and
Liverpool are 21 points behind. That's ridiculous.
And, that's a mammoth deficit.
After half a season.
Yeah, you've got to make a change then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're actually being really reluctant, aren't they, Liverpool? I mean, I think a lot of clubs might have maybe pulled the trigger already. I mean, I think a lot of the problem is the squad, though. Like we said, the squad looks shattered. So,
I think the problem with Klopp is that. Well, I mean, not problem. I think he can do better. I think he can turn this around. But apart from that, the reason he's not sacked is because he is the only manager in a long time that they've won them titles and brought them so close to a Premier League and stuff like that. I mean, they're reluctant, obviously, to always. Would you sack someone that has given you titles? Since,
no, I mean, I guess
ages.
It's the circumstance, isn't it? But I think that's they're finding it really hard to look past Klopp, aren't they? But it's weird because if they are actually due a really big rebuild, then he hasn't actually got a lot of, CV, pointers that show you that he's capable of completely rebuilding the squad from the ground up.
Also,
I mean, he could do, to be fair. I mean, he did walk into Liverpool and it was an absolute state, wasn't it? The sort of players that were there.
Yeah, definitely. I think he can turn this around. And they also are in a position, I think the same position you were thinking for Chelsea when they sacked Tuchel. Like, who are they going to replace it with?
Yeah.
There's no,
apparently.
And that's completely the point, because that's the point. When we did sack Tuchel, I thought there's elements to it that were correct as a decision, but the main point that made it maybe you think it was the wrong decision was who's out there available. But we did end up going to get a manager that actually wasn't available. Graham Potter. So it's turned out to be an all right move so far.
I mean, it does happen, but it's not a very common thing to happen, right?
Excuse me. No, it's not. But yeah, just quickly, Chelsea have won tonight. We had the early kickoff in the Champions League against Red Bull Salzburg away in Austria. I believe the final score, I'm just going to final check, was 2-1. Yeah. Fantastic goal from Havertz. Graham Potter's still unbeaten. So good news for Chelsea fans. He's still unbeaten. He's not lost a game as Chelsea manager. I think it's 5 wins, 2 draws.
Pretty good start.
No, 3 draws, 5 wins.
Was he on a bit of he was on a winning run at Brighton, wasn't he?
Yeah, so he sort of carried it over.
So has he actually lost this season?
Yeah, I think Brighton did lose to someone. I just can't remember who it was. I think it might have even been on the opening day. Oh, no, was it not? I can't remember. Anyway, before we go trawling back through weeks and weeks of sort of past Premier League fixtures, like to finish up on Tottenham, I just want to mention Harry Kane's contract situation. I think is it running out next summer?
Well, I was under the impression it was running out this summer.
I think they've got to sign him down to a deal before the summer, otherwise he's eligible for signing a pre-contract for a free transfer. Yeah. So Harry Kane's got to sign a deal in the next 5 months, pretty much.
I remember thinking about it last season when it was, he could still potentially win the Champions League with Tottenham. Obviously as a massive hopeful, but he seems happy. Well, he seemed happy, obviously with back-to-back defeats. But he seemed happy at Spurs. We had a decent up front 4-3. Conte, he works well with Conte.
Yeah.
I don't know where his football's a weird game. Especially
Real Madrid attempted to get him a couple of seasons back.
Especially when you're not playing football, it's even weirder.
Yeah.
Do you think Harry Kane to Man United's a bit of a...
No, I wouldn't do that if I was him. Oh, no.
No?
I don't know what that does to him. I mean, Harry Kane to Man City, I could have seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you look at what Haaland's done.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Brett's not doing it.
Yeah, not anymore.
Harry Kane to Real Madrid, I can see that happening because he could, that's a Ballon d'Or opportunity, right? If Benzema wins.
But the thing is, the reason I say Man United,
Benzema.
I think Man United might be an attractive proposition because Ten Hag's got him. Well, not playing well yet, but he's showing progress. Ronaldo's on the way out. Martial's injury prone, and Harry Kane wants to not only win the league and whatever, but he wants to beat the Premier League goal scoring record, doesn't he? So I think that's what turns Kane off from going abroad because he really wants to beat that Shearer record.
Yeah, but who? I mean, are Man United really Premier League contenders and Champions League contenders?
With Kane, though, I think with Kane, maybe. It's tough to say. But anyway,
I don't see it, but well.
No. Well, maybe in
happened.
time. Yeah, it's definitely. Stranger things have certainly happened. I guess as we're on the Premier League, it's a good way to sort of move on to what happened last night, which was good evening.
Good evening,
Centre.
You forgot about something, though. Something both of you should be pretty happy about. And it's Arsenal dropping points.
Oh, yes. Just quickly then. Arsenal won, Southampton won.
Great result.
Pretty happy?
But it wasn't. I mean, we would have been more happy with a win, wouldn't they, when we for Southampton?
Oh, yeah.
Southampton looked good. The second half, I don't know if you watched it, Sam, but Arsenal didn't look good at all in the second half. I thought Southampton could have got a winner.
Yeah, I mean, but that comes after Arsenal's other game. Can't remember what it was where they won. They won 1-0. Got a lucky against Leeds. Was it against Leeds?
Yeah.
Well, last weekend.
Same sort of things.
Yeah, Leeds.
Second half, they get an onslaught and they could lose the game.
Yeah,
or they could at least draw. But
they were quite lucky at Leeds, weren't they, to get away with a win?
So. They were very lucky, and I thought they were lucky against Southampton as well.
And to an extent. Well, this weekend on Sunday, they've got very buoyant Nottingham Forest, who have just beaten Liverpool. And in the weekend after that, they're away to Chelsea, which is going to be a tantalising fixture to warm you up before, obviously, Spurs Liverpool later on that evening. But yeah, that's Arsenal did drop points, so Premier League sort of heats up a little bit more, I guess.
2 points away, City now.
Yeah. If anything, like we could be really upset about this World Cup. Well, we are upset anyway because we're not being able to sit outside barbecuing and whatever, watching football. But it's in the winter, isn't it? But this Premier League at the moment is really exciting. We can't call it. Arsenal sitting at the top but dropping points. They've got some tough games coming up. Newcastle looking good. Spurs looking a bit shaky. Liverpool looking like, I mean, are they even in the conversation? Don't know. But yeah, I think we're going to be quite sad to put the brakes on the Premier League before the World Cup, to be honest, the way it's been panning out so far.
Yeah,
it will be.
Especially Arsenal fans. Anyway, good evening.
We'll get over it with the World Cup.
Yeah.
Good evening, Unai Emery.
Good evening.
So Gerrard got sacked.
Massive.
And they've replaced him with Unai Emery. What do you think of that?
Massive turn of events. I never thought it was going to happen. Well, actually, that Steven Gerrard would not last even 2 seasons. I really thought, he came to be like, all the people were pretty much saying like he was the Messiah for them. Like, come on. After massive seasons with Rangers, he was coming to be like...
Was it an unbeaten season? I think it was an unbeaten season with Rangers.
Could be, yeah, could be. Not sure, but it could be. If it's not, it was pretty close. And then suddenly, he's out. To be honest, he had a shocking 8 last games. They just won 1. of the last 8 games. So it was horrible.
He did actually go unbeaten with Rangers in 2021, which made them the second only Scottish team to do so in history. So maybe he should have stayed in Scotland.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't think you go in with the intention of staying, though. I mean that in the nicest possible way. It's like, I think he really wants to be a big club manager. I think he wants to win the Champions League with a club.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone wants that, right?
yeah, exactly. And I mean, Aston Villa, was that again another footstep in his attempt in the right direction?
Step
backwards. I can't remember.
Actually,
I can't remember whom I heard this from. It was like some sort of football chat. I don't know if it was a commentator or something a while ago, could be a year ago or something like that, but it just popped into my mind, saying that they really thought that Steven Gerrard would win the Champions League with Rangers. Obviously, that was actually over a year ago then, because he was still at Rangers. So this was before going to Villa, that he was going to win the Champions League with Rangers.
Where'd you hear that?
4 or 5 years' time. I can't remember. It was like...
Sounds like some guy streaming from like a toilet at a wedding or something. Like, absolutely sad.
I also thought it was I don't know, man. He was definitely doing way better over there. I really thought it was a great move.
He looked like a good proposition.
Yeah, a great one, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, is Unai Emery the right choice for Aston Villa?
That's another thing.
I think yes. Firstly, some have said no.
I don't think so.
Do you not?
I don't think so.
For some reason, I think he's going to get something out of them players. I don't know. I think they're going to look up to him. I think they're going to respect him. Europa League winner, lest we forget.
I don't like him as a manager. Never liked him. I don't think he's bad though, but I don't know. Well, and after leaving Villarreal too, like I was not expecting this. He was doing pretty good with Villarreal, 7th in the league. Conference League, they were doing amazingly well. They're unbeaten on the Conference League. They beat Austria Vienna 6-0 altogether. The 2 matches. I mean,
wow.
It was 5-0 and 1-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
They were doing great, and suddenly, poof, it's gone. I was not expecting this. When I heard the news about Emery being the choice, I really thought Emery was going to actually reject it.
Really?
Yeah, I think I
think I've seen a lot of Villarreal fans are actually quite upset.
Angry.
Angry and upset.
I mean, if you were imagine Tuchel, for example, all the way around. He was on Champions League positions and he was unbeaten on Champions up until the moment he got sacked. Would you understand that? I would understand it.
Yeah. And I guess he's got a pay rise as well, has he?
7 million.
A pay rise, but I mean, he's moving from essentially Valencia, because Villarreal are near Valencia. Villarreal is a little village or whatever, isn't it, or a little town, so he could be living in the town. From a lovely little Mediterranean town, he's swapping it for Birmingham.
Yeah, that's not even a good change, that either. I'm sorry.
There's a bit of poetry to that, isn't
there? Yeah.
He says though that his decision was strictly professional, though. And he felt saddened because he felt the football passion again after coaching Villarreal. But he bears even deeper his profession.
So he lost that passion. He lost that passion at Arsenal, I'm guessing.
I'm just going to give you both a brief interruption, because we're 20 minutes into these Champions League games.
Who's 1-0 down?
Leipzig, 2-0. Real Madrid 0.
Oh.
Benfica 1, Juventus 0.
Juventus continuing to disappoint.
RB Leipzig,
wow.
2-0.
Juventus is being shocking.
What was that, 3-0 one?
They signed Cristiano Ronaldo. Is Cristiano Ronaldo the problem?
I mean, Juventus could do with him back. Real Madrid could do with him back.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, yeah.
But yeah, did he really leave for a professional reason? Or did he leave for those sweet 7 millions?
To be honest, I don't mind, as long as we get to see him in charge of Aston Villa against Arsenal. I want to see him beat Arsenal. He's done it already, right? I think think he knocked Arsenal out of the Europa League, wasn't it, with Villarreal? I think he did them over 2 legs.
when they won the Europa League.
Yeah. I think it was a semi-final, and it was hilarious. Like, I think it was like the season before they got rid of Emery or something. And it was Arsenal's like only chance of getting Champions League football, wasn't it? And like, they had all their hopes pinned on it, and then Emery dished in the dirt. So
he's
quite poetic.
He's great to interview post match, isn't he? Just an enjoyable.
Good evening. Yeah.
Good evening.
It's box office stuff. Well, moving on to, I guess we can move on to the Liga, shall we? Or
yeah, we can move to La Liga. Actually, it's not been that interesting though. The most interesting were the Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia games. I'd say the rest were shockingly boring, especially the Atletico Madrid. His style, wow. I mean, I hate playing against Atletico Madrid just because every single game it's boring, very boring. Simeone's styles can give results, but it's boring as hell. I wouldn't like to be an Atletico fan. Sorry, Atletico fans. I think it's a great manager because obviously he gets results. He gets really good results, but it's just boring play style. Well, firstly, Barcelona. I'm pretty, let's say, scared about this one because we're playing against Barcelona later. They beat Atletico Bilbao 4-0.
And Bilbao are in good form, right?
And Bilbao are in all-rightish form. All-rightish. I wouldn't say good form, but all right. Pretty all right. Not to lose 4-0 at least.
Yeah.
A Dembele goal, then Sergi Roberto, who got pretty bad injury, if I'm not mistaken, of that game. More or less at the end of the game. Actually, yes, it did end. The game ended with Sergi Roberto's injury. They blew the final whistle when they were getting him out of the field, pretty much. Robert Lewandowski, another goal, amazing season he's having with Barcelona. I think. Oh, what was this stat? I should have noted this down. There was a stat which is like since Ronaldo, but not Cristiano Ronaldo, the other Ronaldo Nazario. Since Ronaldo Nazario, I think it's been the only player who has scored in every single game since he got into the club, in La Liga, or something of the sort.
Yeah.
Something amazing. Well, I was expecting him to do great because obviously he's Lewandowski, but I wasn't expecting this level of greatness because obviously he had to adapt, new league, adapt, new club. I thought the start was going to be a little bit more slow for him, but Jesus. Same as Haaland, massive.
Their defence as well. I mean, Barcelona's defence. I mean, they just don't concede goals. I mean, they've conceded 4 goals, right, this season. 3 of them have been against Real Madrid, granted, but 4 goals in 11 games.
That Jules Koundé signing made wonders, I'd say, for them. So that's it for Barcelona. I'm pretty scared because we're playing against them at home, though. So I hope that's.
So that's Saturday, Sunday.
Yes, Saturday.
Okay.
Although last season when we played at home against Barcelona, we lost.
You went to that?
I went to that. Yeah. Yes, it was the only game I was able to go for the entire season, and we lost 1-4. Jesus. Horrible game. We played horribly bad. We didn't even have a chance. It was just horrible. Well, moving on, we have the Real Madrid and Sevilla again. A very big thing going here with the refereeing. Sevilla got a player sent out. Was it a foul? Yes, for me it was a red card, but it was not as bad as other Real Madrid, let's say, plays or something. You guys know that last year, Real Madrid, not all the Real Madrid players went throughout the entire season without getting any red card.
Yeah.
And you saw some. If you saw some of the games, especially Casemiro nearly broke 2 legs. And he didn't even touch the ball, and he didn't even get yellow for one of them. What the hell, man?
Probably because they don't have Sergio Ramos anymore. I mean, that's why that stat's changed.
Casemiro has always been like that. Now maybe he picked up the role of Ramos plus his role. He's just doubling the efforts. Well, last season, not this season. Well, Real Madrid beat Sevilla 3-1 with a massive goal from Lucas Vázquez on the 80th minute. Well, net 79th. Lucas Vázquez. Federico Valverde. Lucas Vázquez also scored, but Federico Valverde. Valverde. That shot outside of the big box, it was more or less in between midfield and the beginning of the big box.
Yeah.
All through the corner. Massive shot. Massive goal. Amazing. Since then, Real Madrid fans are saying that he's the best midfielder in the world, but I don't know what they're smoking. I'm sorry, man. He's great.
Valverde's had a really good season there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he had an amazing start.
Yeah.
I think he's the max goal scorer of the team right now. Could be, if I'm not mistaken.
And is he a winger, or is he a central midfielder? Would you say?
No, he's just a center midfielder.
Yeah,
definitely. Although he sometimes gets played on the wing.
Yeah, because I think when I watched him against Chelsea, he was on the left or something.
Yeah,
can't remember, but yeah,
quite a controversial one. Then we have my beloved Valencia losing against Mallorca.
Yeah, I heard it all. As we said, just before in the episode, I was watching the Chelsea Man United game, and Sento had the Valencia Mallorca game, and I heard it went from Valencia got a penalty, goal, having a good Saturday night, then they equalised, and then Sento's little downhearted voice came through saying, "Oh, they've scored," and it was
they've scored. It was that a penalty.
A Mallorca winner.
Yeah, no, it was the first goal. It was the first goal, which was also a penalty. What again? They robbed us. I'm sorry. La Liga is playing against Valencia. Like VAR even checked that. Even before I saw the repetition, I said that's not a pen. VAR checked it, saw the repetition, said again, that's not a pen. They gave them a pen, they scored it. Later on, watched even more images on Twitter and all that. I invite all you guys to check it on Twitter, and you will say, that's not a pen. He doesn't even touch him, mate. What the hell is VAR saying? What the hell is VAR doing, mate? What is it there for? He didn't even touch him.
It's nice to know that Spain are having some issues with VAR as well, though. Because it can be very hit and miss, can't it? 1 minute they get a decision right that you think, before VAR that goal counts and it ruins the game. But on the other hand, they get some absolute stinkers.
Yeah. This ruined the game for Valencia because we were dominating, we were playing pretty well, I'd say. And that goal killed us. That goal killed us completely on the 66th minute. Yep, 66th minute. Yeah. So pretty much the end-ish of the game, let's say. So yeah, that killed us. And then Kangan Lee, our former academy player, scored an absolute banger after dribbling past two defenders. And well, he didn't celebrate the goal, so I was happy about that at least. He actually asked for forgiveness, to the. We were playing at home. He asked for forgiveness to the fans, but it was a massive goal. Valencia in trouble. We lost 2 of the 3 last games, and the other one was a draw. We're getting more away from European positions. Actually, we're now 7 or 8 points away from champions and 6 points away from relegation. So we're even closer from relegation than champions right now.
But how are you playing?
Horrible spot. Yeah, that's the thing. I think we're playing amazingly well. Actually, I'm not going to look for the stats now, but I do remember something. The problem we're having are first halves and second halves. First half.
It's a game of football, isn't it? It's the first half of the second half.
It's complete. It's stats wise, goals scored, dribbles. Goals like what is it like? Stealing the ball from the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like stealing the ball from the enemy, successful tackles, successful tackles, successful dribbles, goals, one-on-ones, everything, all of that.
Yeah.
On the first half, Valencia is the second best team in the entire league. Second, behind Real Madrid, above Barcelona. Second halves, we are the 17th in terms of stats. We no shoot anymore. We no tackle no more. We no dribble no more. They score shitloads of goals. I don't know what's happening on the second half. It's mad. That the first half, if you watch Valencia, first half is like you're watching Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or something like that. Massive. Yeah. And then second half is like watching Nottingham Forest. Sorry, Forest fans.
Well, they did right, didn't they? Forest on the weekend.
Yeah. Liverpool, yeah.
I'm enjoying this passion, Sento, to be honest with you. I mean, get you in. You need to be their manager. That half-time team talk was inspirational.
Yeah, right.
He looks a bit like Gattuso as well with his little stubble.
Yeah.
Just going to headbutt you.
I actually love him. I really like it too. So I think that was a really great choice.
Yeah.
And well, moving on, and the last little mention about La Liga, it was the Villarreal team. One of the Villarreal founders passed away last weekend, and one of the players who scored Baena made him a little homage, is it? Like,
celebration?
Yeah, celebration. Let's say, like he pulled his shirt up. He didn't take it off. He just pulled it up. And underneath, he had another shirt saying, "Thanks for everything, INIESTA," which is the
lovely.
The other thing that passed away. And the entire league, the entire clubs, the entire fans from all the clubs are on top of that referee because he showed him a red card for pulling up his T-shirt to show the message.
Red, not a yellow.
Yes, red, straight red.
Oh. Why?
Yes.
Why is it not a yellow?
I don't know, man. Or maybe it was a yellow. It was actually it was a second yellow. It was a second yellow. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I thought it was only if you took it off, but
yeah, I thought that too. He just pulled it up and said, "Oh, you pulled it up like above your head." Although he didn't take it off. He just pulled it up. Like typical middle part of the T-shirt back on your neck. Yeah. You know what you're saying? Yeah.
That's rough.
And red card. Celebration for a co-founder that just passed away a couple of days before. The entire team were shouting to the ref, "Asshole, asshole, asshole."
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Socials are exploding against the ref. Clubs are exploding against the ref. It's massive, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the ref's just doing the rules, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, to an extent.
You can't make excuses,
can the ref.
Yeah. He did follow the rules. That's what some people are saying. That he did follow the rules because actually the rules that would be in a yellow if you put the shirt over your head, which is what he did. But then there's a lot of other people saying, I mean, that's what the ref is there for, to at least sometimes interpret, like the rules. Sometimes to do some exceptions, and I think that was one of them exceptions.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it reminds me. I mean, it's not saying this. No one died, but it reminds me of when Lampard scored the goal at. Just quickly, Benfica 3-1 up against Juventus. I mean, Juventus is nightmarish for Juventus, isn't it? But
they're knocked out. They're knocked out as it stands.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that. But that celebration we're talking about, the yellow, being on a yellow card already and getting the second yellow, reminds me of a Frank Lampard goal he scored when he broke the goal scoring record to become the Chelsea's. To break a record to become a club's all-time goal scorer is quite a seismic achievement. And if you watch the goal he scores at Aston Villa, you can see, I think he said even after the game in an interview, he wanted to jump into the crowd, take his shirt off, but he's already on a booking. So to score a goal of such magnitude and have to pretty much, mute your celebrations isn't easy. So this player did the right thing. He knew he was on a yellow card. He knew he was running the risk, but Lampard, no one died, so there's nothing really, not a point to be made. So I actually think this Villarreal player did the right thing. And,
I think he did the right thing. Oh, even though he risked that red. Well, he got that red.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I think that should have been an exception. I do get why that rule is there. Celebrations sometimes can get a little bit...
maybe annoy the fan. Yeah, I think it's to stop players inciting fans to get a bit overexcited or whatever. I think
one which comes to mind.
Yeah.
Balotelli, why always me?
Yeah, that's a great one.
But this reminds me to the goal Iniesta scored against Netherlands to give Spain the World Cup.
Took his shirt off.
He did took his shirt off, and it also had a message on it, which it was for a Spanish footballer, if I'm not mistaken, which passed away a couple months prior to the World Cup. Yeah. There's actually a very emotional story about that, of the wife of the footballer that passed away, that didn't want to watch the football at all. And he didn't watch the World Cup at all, didn't watch the final. And 10 minutes before the final, she said, I'm going to put it on, although I don't want to watch football or have anything. But she said that she felt she had to turn it on for a little bit. 5 minutes later, Iniesta scored, T-shirt,
wow.
for his passed away husband.
Talking of Iniesta and T-shirts, though, I mean, the one that comes to mind for me is the yellow top.
I hope he wasn't going to mention it.
2009 against certain Chelsea.
I hope he wasn't going to mention it. I mean, when Sento mentioned Iniesta and shirt off, that was the first thing that came to my mind. But I'm glad he diverted it towards the national achievements, which I much prefer.
Helicopter in the T-shirt.
Unbelievable. I could not. Oh, yeah, we won't get into that. But just before we do actually move on from La Liga, there is some, I should say, maybe fairly big news breaking today, is there, Sensei, regarding the Liga asking for a sports law change? Or...
Yeah. I mean, this actually has been going on for a couple of weeks now, but today has been the big day. The day that, everything went on fire, pretty much. The Spanish government is trying to make a change in the sports law in Spain, which have basically, angered all teams in Spain, but Real Madrid and Barcelona, because obviously the law favors them.
So hang on, just before we get into this quite a bit deeper, everyone is pretty much kicked off about this except Barcelona and Real Madrid.
An athletic club, because this, I mean, it doesn't really favor them, but it doesn't affect them either. So they're just, neutral. They're Switzerland in this case.
They're Switzerland.
What is going on is basically the two main parties, PP and PSOE, the two big political parties in Spain, agreed to basically change a couple things. I'm going to tell you the main ones, at least the main ones. Firstly, La Liga will not be able to sanction or impede any teams to play on any unofficial UEFA or FIFA tournaments.
Christ.
So basically, this could be the beginning of the Super League. Yeah. Because this means that now La Liga has no power to basically not allowing Real Madrid and Barcelona.
You prevent them from breaking away.
Preventing them.
With legislation,
on playing Super League, because obviously, I mean, the weapons La Liga had was that, okay, if you play Super League, you're not playing La Liga, you're not playing King's Cup, you're not playing anything. Right?
Yeah.
Same as UEFA and FIFA said. If you're playing that, you're not playing Champions or anything of the sort. So it was one of the weapons. They took that weapon away from La Liga. Now La Liga can do nothing. If Real Madrid wants to create a Super League and play on it, they will be able to play La Liga too.
The only problem they've got at the moment, though, is it looks like it's only going to be Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. Is it not?
For now, yeah.
I think Juventus are really keen as well. I think Juventus are as a team that are quite, because they're financially stumped, aren't they? Juventus, I think they're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah,
so is it just me?
Shambles.
I mean, is it not just going to be entertaining or potentially money making for a couple of seasons? I mean, it's not going to be a long-term sort of solution, right? I mean, the World Cup's only as exciting as it is because it's once every 4 years.
Wow. Yeah. I think they want to change the World Cup to once every 2 years as well. Like, well, not the Super League.
Yeah, exactly. But I can't see the Super League being a consistently good idea.
I think Super League is not a bad idea if it's thought from a different perspective, not the rules they were setting where Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea, all these teams were going to be always playing Super League. However, they did, untouchable. I don't think, that's the rule. I wouldn't do it. Like, maybe the winner of each league would be able to play Super League the year after. Yeah. Maybe something like that. But obviously not set in stone, 20 teams.
Yeah, a new competition like that where the champion of every, European division in the summer before the Premier League starts and the Liga and whatever, they have a week tournament or a 2-week tournament where, they all play each other. There's a trophy at the end of it. It's quite important. Nice trophy. You've got to beat some good teams, but it doesn't mess with the Champions League because there's nothing wrong with the Champions League. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I can't be asked to get up all of the, a lot is changing in the Champions League next year, I think. Is this year the last year? It might be for another episode, but that's set to change. I think they're looking to introduce a load more teams.
It was 2024. Well, it was actually like a 2-3 year plan.
Yeah.
Of changing rules, like 2024 to 26 or 27, something like that.
Yeah. So it's not looking great, and I just wish they would leave the beautiful game alone. To be honest,
I think the Super League can even work alongside Champions League.
The only problem is they'd be a bit tired, wouldn't they? There's a lot of games already.
No. What I mean is, you have all the league winners of the 10 best teams leagues of Europe. All the top teams, so all the winners get to play the Super League, but not the champions. That's what I mean. So that the Super League is actually something even more exclusive and, let's say, important than the Champions League.
Yeah.
You want to know what I mean? That would also give more chances to, let's say, more modest / smaller teams to win the Champions League. You would be seeing, instead of City or Real Madrid or Bayern Munich winning all the time, you probably start seeing still very good teams, like Chelsea or Liverpool or Spurs or Atletico Madrid or, big teams that will have more chances to win it. I
was going to refrain you. I was going to take Spurs out of the comment. I was going to take, but I'll let it happen. You're going to start putting Spurs in alongside teams like Chelsea and Liverpool. I'm not going to say too much about
down, mate.
Yeah, I'm not. It's getting late. I'm quite subdued. I'll let that one slide. But I mean, that is pretty bad news in terms of the European football community, I guess.
Well, I'll carry on though. Quickly. So from now on, clubs won't be able to vote on any rules for the competitions or anything like that.
Yeah.
Up until now, they could vote, for example, I don't know, like extending 3 to 5 changes per game, like we have right now, something like that.
Yeah.
And the other very big point here is that La Liga will lose the commercial rights for La Liga. So broadcasting, radio, all of that. Up until now, like Sky Sports could come to La Liga and say, hey, I want to buy the La Liga TV rights for the next, 5 years for this amount. Okay. From now on, they won't be able to do it. I'm not sure. I did not find information about this. I think from now on, each club will have its own rights. And the reason this benefits Real Madrid and Barcelona was because of the 2 billion euros funding that a company invested like 2 billion on La Liga, basically, so it could help with like COVID side effects, because same as Premier League, all the clubs were in troubles.
Yeah.
Financially, Real Madrid didn't want to get in that. Barcelona didn't want to get in that, and the reason Athletic Club is Switzerland in this case is because they didn't want to get in this either. So this change will basically mean that this deal they made with this company will be illegal, because the deal was that 2 billion for all the to split between all the teams. The teams will then repay that loan, because it's actually a loan on 4 years' time, 0% interest. So they will just give back what they got. And then in return, this company was going to get 10% of La Liga commercial rights for like 50 years' time, something like that. It's a lot of money for that company in the long run. And the thing with this is that this will be illegal, because obviously La Liga cannot, commercialize the rights anymore. CVC won't be able to get the rights anymore from the deal, so they will just back off from the deal and get all the money back and out of La Liga, and all the teams will be in shambles again, like with a very big trouble. Real Madrid and Barcelona refused this, so that's why this favors them, because now the rights goes to them, especially Barcelona, which on this case I'm gonna call the Levers Football Club. which actually, I don't know why they didn't want to get into this deal, because they did exactly the same thing, but even more and worse, in my opinion. Like, they're not just losing 10% of the rights, but they're losing the 10% of the rights because La Liga made the deal, although they didn't want to get in there. La Liga still has the rights. They lost at 25 extra of their own rights, of Barcelona's own rights, 25% extra, and then 50% of Barca Studios rights. So they basically given away 35% of TV rights money away for the next 50 or so years, and 50% of the money from Barca Studios. Like, they're even worse. Like, I don't know what the hell these guys are doing. La Liga proposed 10%. Not 35 plus 50. Like, what the hell are you even doing? So yeah, even the Javier Tebas, the president of La Liga, has said straight out in an interview on TV, please, you political parties, stop following Florentino Perez orders. Yeah. Stop licking ass, basically. Stop licking ass. This is all about money. Obviously, this is all about money.
I can't believe it.
And because of this, probably from 28th onwards, there's going to be a strike in La Liga and Second Division too, for who knows how much time, until they go back on this, basically, they said. But basically, there could be no La Liga football for an entire year or more.
What do you think? What do you think Real Madrid fans think? I mean, you might know more than us. You're not a Real Madrid fan yourself, but do you think they're happy with this? Or do they want to be in a Super League? Or
most of them, yes. Most of them do think that it is a very good idea to be in a Super League. That would be very interesting, and obviously, it's the best thing to do because Florentino Perez proposed it. And Champions League exists because of Real Madrid. Real Madrid was the founder of the European Cup. You guys know that?
Yeah.
Well, it then changed its name to the Champions League. So now they're saying, oh, we're going to do the same thing this era. Let's create the Super League. They think they're important. They think they're going to do something big and important, like by creating this Super League, making Real Madrid even more important. So they're very happy with this. I'm going to tell you. They're very happy with this.
Well, that sounds like there's a lot more to come from that moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the start.
This sounds like the first load of legislation.
Yeah. I mean, if we start to see some more of this Super League nonsense, from Premier League clubs or Serie A clubs, for example, it's going to become a real threat. And it is a threat to things like the Champions League, because UEFA aren't going to have it. UEFA aren't going to, want teams playing in two different continental competitions. So I'm sure plenty more to come from that in future episodes. Is there anything else we want to talk about, chaps?
Well, there's a very interesting story about a Spanish man that decided to travel to Qatar to the World Cup.
Maniac.
Mainly walking. Although he did, in his plan, it was to get 2 ferries, though. He did get the first one, not the second one. He disappeared on Iran, basically.
Now, I've only heard about this today in the news, but you're saying in Spain. Has it been on national news in Spain, or is it?
Oh, yes. This has been. Yeah, he's been disappeared for 21 days now.
So this is quite big in Spain, is it?
It's quite big. Yeah. It's quite big. It's going on Santiago Sanchez. He's described as a person with a passion for adventuring, football, and Real Madrid. And he challenged himself to walk from a town in Madrid all the way to Qatar, which is a journey of 11,000 kilometers, mainly walking, as I said.
How many days? That must be like 4-5 months.
He started in January.
Wow.
He started in January, so you can guess. Yeah,
about a year of walking.
Yeah, pretty much. And his plan was to arrive to Qatar a few days before World Cup. I mean, I guess he was not just walking, and that's it.
But he didn't leave himself much time for, now he's fucked, isn't he? He ain't making it now, is he? His schedule's fucked.
He disappeared. Well, I mean, are you worried about the schedule?
No.
He disappeared in Iran, man. I mean,
yeah, no. I hope Santiago.
He could well be dead. I hope not.
Obviously. No, I hope his Wi-Fi is just shocking or something. Yeah.
The thing is that he was reporting to his family and friends every single day since he left.
Madrid. It's been 21 days.
Yeah, and he was also posting a lot of things on social media and all that. And since 21 days ago, nothing.
Who is he with then?
He was alone. He was traveling alone.
No, really?
Yeah. He was traveling alone.
Oh, what a plonker.
Kind of. He already did the same, well, not exactly the same thing, but a very similar thing in 2019 when he traveled to Saudi Arabia, but by bicycle this time, to watch the first Super Cup that was going to be played over there.
And he made that one all right, did he? I guess.
Yeah, he did. He got over there, right? Obviously, that's why he's trying to do this again.
Yeah. Well, they normally, whatever city you live in, you'll find someone who'll tell you not to go to a certain part or certain dark alleyway or wherever it might be. This guy's chosen to walk through Syria and Iran.
Well, there's a lot of tension in Iran.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Now there's a big thing going on with Iran and the women's rights right now, the burqa and all that, right? They made it mandatory and they're fighting against that. Who knows? Maybe he tried to protect a girl or a woman and he got killed, or who knows, or in prison. Hopefully not.
So how are we going to find out then? Is it a Spain sending some sort of people out there to see what's going on, or?
Yeah, up until now, the embassy's work is to do this, obviously. Talk with Iran and all that, so they help Spain basically look for him or something of the sort. But if he got, I don't know, man. I really feel bad for the family because this doesn't sound good. Disappearing in a country like Iran for 21 days is not.
Can't be good. No,
it can't. Be good.
It doesn't look like good news at all.
Yeah.
Maybe to close on a slightly more positive note. 26 days until the World Cup, which starts on the 20th of November, so a week after Sento's birthday.
That's it.
What I find the most strange of all is that we're going to be watching a World Cup final pretty much exactly a week before Christmas. Exactly a week before Christmas. It is exactly a week before Christmas. There's a World Cup final taking place 1 week before Santa Claus's presence.
18th.
How strange is that?
18th, yes, because 18th is the final, isn't it?
Yeah. That's going to feel so strange.
Jesus.
And we're going to be
Yeah, we exchanged the barbecue in summer for the eggnog.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our woolly jumpers on, and we're gonna be watching football players sweating one out,
In
and
peak summer.
I assume they'll be having drinks breaks.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, I think there are drinks breaks
because it's so hot.
Yeah,
and we'll be pitch black.
Part of me thinks maybe we'll enjoy it, because in the winter there's not much to do. The dark nights, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking we might end up, thoroughly enjoying having wall-to-wall football, for a month straight.
Could be. I thought this was not a good idea, but now that you say it like that, maybe.
I mean, especially for you, Sento's. If you haven't watched our last episode, I strongly suggest you do. Sento does go into great depth about his injury he sustained, and I'm thinking, you can't be running around anywhere, so you'll probably enjoy.
Well, that's a couple months from now. I hope I can at least walk, mate. By then, I hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can still believe the World Cup is happening in Qatar, though.
No, I mean
because of the country. I mean because of the sort of country it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty much proven that they're financing terrorist groups.
Yeah, and all the slavery for building the stadiums
and all the anti-women's rights they have.
Anti-women rights.
They're completely oppressed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you heard? Oh, was it? I don't know if we talked about this last episode, but have you heard about the drinking rules? Because obviously it's a Muslim country.
Yes, I have.
Alcohol is prohibited.
Yeah.
Up until 3 hours before the game, you can drink alcohol, and 2 hours later. But if you drink and you're at least a little bit tipsy, you have to go to safe places to sober up. What the hell?
Really?
Yes.
What I've seen today is that you cannot vape in public places over there either. Vaping is illegal.
There's going to be some arrests, and there's going to be absolute worldwide carnage.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, we're used to seeing other sorts of carnage. For example, was it the Euro 2016 in France, where Russian fans and England fans were having their own little sort of World War III in I can't remember what city it was in.
I remember that.
Do you remember? It's all over the back pages, wasn't it?
I think it was on the news at the time. It was something like Russian sends specialist fighters, specially trained
mixed martial arts fighters or something.
Yeah, and there were YouTube videos about them where they used to watch football hooligans in the 90s on YouTube, and they're their inspiration. The Russians in UK football hooligans.
Unbelievable. Well, I think that might just conclude this 6th episode. What do we think? Anything else to come from the Peanut Gallery?
Well, I'll just want to add something. You guys might not like it. There's a little joke going around in Spain with the drinking stuff in Qatar and the safe spaces people that drink have to go.
Is it clean?
To sober up. No, they're all the Spanish people joking that those safe spaces for sobering up will be full of English people.
Oh, for goodness sake.
You guys don't have a good reputation.
So that's what the Spanish are saying, is it?
English people doesn't have a good reputation in Spain because alcohol here is cheap. Yeah, alcohol here is cheap, and a lot of young people come here to drink, get smashed. Yeah. They put on fire trashes and stuff like that.
They transmit diseases.
They do the balconing. Yeah, what diseases? What?
That's what.
I mean, COVID. You mean?
No. Well, COVID. Yeah. Move on.
That's why Jude Bellingham needs to come to the UK.
Well, I mean, I still hope he goes to Real Madrid, but if he comes to Chelsea, I will not complain.
Okay, that was my little side note from Spanish people. I do not think the same way though.
Do not endorse.
Yeah, I mean,
I do not.
I've seen. I mean, Sento has taken part in pub culture and whatever in Britain, and he's seen the other side of it. So
I mean, it's not the same thing. Like I said, the thing is that a lot of young British people come to Spain to party. because it's just
Magaluf,
so
whatever.
Yeah. That's why they have that view of English people, at least the young ones.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not like that. And you're going on holidays. You're going to have fun.
Yeah. Can have a drink.
No carbs before marbs.
No.
And we also have a lot of people driving on the country, on the other side of the lane here in Spain. And they're always English people.
Who are they then?
But I do get that because you drive the other way around. So I guess, it would be difficult for me. I never wanted to drive in the UK because of that.
Yeah.
And you had trouble with that when you were here, remember, George?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that.
I was constantly telling you, remember the right, go to the right.
Yeah.
Oh, not that lane.
Well, thanks everyone for listening if you've got this far. Again, we'll be coming up again very soon with another episode for you to enjoy. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Head down to the description below to see all of our links. Follow us on Twitter. Send us a tweet. We'll probably get back to you unless it's offensive. Goodbye from me.
In which case, you'll probably be blocked. That's it.
Probably. I mean, sometimes. I don't know. Yeah, probably.
I mean, offensive.
I'm not going to start encouraging offensive tweets to any of us.
Yeah.
Please. But I mean, another cracking weekend of football we've just had, and one coming up again. I mean, it's never ending, isn't it? This stuff.
Yeah.
Well, October hasn't been, is it?
No, it's literally wall to wall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A game going on. There's games going on right now. I mean, you can't get enough of it. But
batting them back and forth.
Yeah, we'll be back again. We'll be back again with more to talk about. Hopefully next time as well. We're going to try and introduce a bit more crypto chat as well. So there's that to look forward to. Thanks again. Thanks from me. See you later.
Cheers, boys.
See ya.